So here I'm working with one dog at a time. We've got the second dog tethered up at the side, and I'm instructing the owner as to how to walk the dog behind. I'm explaining to her that if the dog tries to go in front of me, I'm going to block him with my leg, keeping the lead loose, and I'm giving him a little correction if he comes too far in front. The other dog that's at the side is barking and it's distracting a little bit, which is why he's looking over. And I'm putting in lots of turns to make the walk more less predictable, so that the dog's less likely to lose focus. So it's walking along quite nicely here, and I'm paying attention to the dog the whole time, but at the same time watching what's going on in the environment. All the turns that I put in, I just do them. I don't ask the dog to move with me. I just make the turn quite abruptly. That's an emergency stop that I've just put in there to test whether the dog is going to go past me, and it didn't, which is good. The owner's observing and watching what's happening, and I'm just having a word with her now and passing the reins over to her to deal with. Her second dog is still barking, which is a bit of a distraction, but this is what happens in the real world. We have to deal with distractions. And I'm explaining to her how to hold the lead. So we want it to be nice and loose. We don't want any tension in the lead, because that will encourage the dog to become tense. I'm going to ask her to move along at her own pace. And if the dog walks in front of her, then she's to use her leg to block it. And she can put a little tug on the lead just as a correction. So he's in a nice position now, waiting patiently. And the owner's nice and ready to start moving. So we're going to go ahead. And I'm asking her to walk confidently in a straight line. Try to keep an eye on what's going on around us at the same time. We need to be aware of what's happening in the environment to deal with things as they arise. The other dog's still barking in the background now, because a bit distressed, a bit of separation anxiety. So we move off now, and you can see here that the dog is in a much better position than it was at the beginning. He's not out in front, he's not pulling. He's actually walking along nicely behind her. His head is forward. He's not looking about too much, so he's fairly in tune with the owner. We don't want to allow any sniffing, because that's when the dog loses its focus on the owner and starts to become more interested in what's going on around it. So it's actually walking along really nicely here, considering its playmate is screaming and going mad at the side. It's doing quite well, and the owner's paying nice attention to the owner, bringing in turns and changes in direction to mix it up and make it more interesting and less predictable.